Welcome to the Yelp previous documentation. In this video, I'll show you how to create your own documentation using Sphinx. And also, I'll show you how to use the Sphinx tool for creating Yelp previous documentation. First of all, let me introduce you what is Sphinx. So, Sphinx is a tool with which you can create beautiful documentation, and it uses restructured text, which is the markup language for creating the documentation. And you can follow this page for full documentation guidance on Sphinx tool. And for this documentation, first of all, you need to have a GitHub account, and after login into your GitHub account, you can find the plus symbol on the top right corner and click on it. You can find new repository, and when you click on it, a page will appear like this, and here you need to enter the name of your new repository, and after selecting the required fields here, you can click on create repository for creating new repository. For this documentation, I have created Yelp reviews repository, and I can use this repository by using copying this URL. So this is my working folder, and I'm accessing to my command prompt here. I can use git clone in the URL for cloning into my repository. So it's done. You can see a read file also here. So I need to move into my Yelp reviews folder here. Here I want to create a new virtual environment for this documentation. Actually, you may be having a virtual environment previously in your mission, but for doing this documentation, you need to have a separate virtual environment in your repository folder. So I'm creating a new virtual environment here. I'm using the name as my venv. You can use any other name. So now I want to create a new folder also for this Sphinx documentation. I'm using the name as docs. So it's done. And now I need to move into my docs folder. So it's fine. Now let's start documentation. First of all, we need to install Sphinx by using this command. So actually, before installing anything, we need to activate our virtual environment first. So sorry, okay. Now yeah, as you can see here, it is showing my venv, that is my virtual environment name. So it means my venv is activated. So now let's move into the docs folder. Now let's install the Sphinx. So it's done, and the next step is to use the command Sphinx quick start. So this will guide us through few steps. First of all, it is saying separate source and build directories. So yes, I want to use separate directories for source and build. The default option is n, that is no. So I want to type yes, and the project name is author's name, release is 0.1. You can use any number. The default language is English, so enter. So finishing is done. So let's check the Sphinx installation. For checking our documentation, you can just move into build folder HTML. You can just click on index. So this is our documentation page. This is my project name. So this is my project name, and we have to add some content into this documentation. If you want to add any content or any information into the documentation page, you can just move into source and index. This is the .rst file. I'm using Visual Studio for editing this RST file. And actually, let me tell you one thing before this. Actually, this is the default theme. So if you want to use any specialized theme, you can just go to the page, Sphinx themes. Okay, click on this, and here many themes are available. So for my documentation, I'm going to use this theme. Read the docs. So for using this, I need to install first the Sphinx RTD theme. So let's do this. Yes. After doing this, I need to add the extension also. This actually the theme here is Alabaster, so I need to use this theme. So like this, as mentioned here, Control C and this. So now let's check the theme. Let's refresh the page. So yes, my theme is changed. So let's add some content into this documentation. So before adding the content, let me show you some commands in this documentation. So first of all, the heading, main heading. Let me remove this. So to highlight a heading, I need to use the is equal to symbol as underline to highlight a heading. And if I want to highlight a subheading, I need to use subheading. I need to use the minus symbol under the sentence. And if I want to make a word or a sentence as italics, I should use single asterisk before and after the word. So let me show you. So if I want to italicize the word this, I have to use single asterisk before and after this word. And if I want to make any word or sentence as bold, I have to use double asterisk. Yes. And the next thing is hyperlink. So if I want to use any hyperlink and if I want to redirect it to any word, you can use this format, that is, so I want to highlight the word here, so I need to add the back quote before and after this word in this quote. So it's done. And I want to when I click on this word here, I want to redirect to the dataset download page. So for that I need to use the command the same word I need to use here, and here I need to mention the link. I can just use this link. So it's done. And the next one is highlighting and redirecting text to a particular line. If we have multiple steps in our documentation, and if we want to click on the step 1 and it should redirect to the where the step 1 is located, you can just use this command. So I just want to use this as step 1 here, step 1, and somewhere it is mentioned as the steps as first one is the step 1. So if I want to redirect this, I can use the syntax as here the back code should be enclosed before and after the sentence. And here I need to mention the token, the tag, yes one. The tag is your wish, you can use any other name, but the thing is you have to remember that. And this when I click on this step 1, it should redirect me to this line. So I need to mention here yes one. The tag is yes one. Also in this documentation, spacing and indentation is very important. And the next one is, if you want to write a code snippet into this documentation, you can just use this command. It is code block, and you need to mention the language. So here I'm using the Python language. And as I told you just now, indentation is very important. So you have to step by 3 spaces, 1, 2, and 3. So here you can give space and you can write any code snippet like import re or import pandas or any code snippet you can add here. And if you want to execute a Python code directly in the documentation, you can also do that by using this Plotly library. So and indentation 1, 2, and 3 include source. So when you assign this true value to this include source, it will display the code. Otherwise, if it is false, it will just hide the code. But the output will be displayed there. So this is the syntax for that. And so finally, if you want to add any image or any figure, you can just follow this. Here you need to mention the image path. And if you feel the image is very large in size and if you want to reduce it, you can just use scale. Scaling by the percentage. So I'm using 60% here. And if you feel any image should be aligned into the center of the document page, you can do this by using align as center. So using all these basic comments, you can just create a beautiful documentation. So these are the basic rules with which you can create documentation. And let me finish my documentation content and come back. So as you can see, I have completed my all my content here. This is the sentiment analysis.rst file. Here I have added content regarding performing sentiment analysis, and this is about plotting this sentiment analysis result, and this file is about performing contextual analysis, and all these sentiment analysis and contextual analysis are performed on Yelp dataset only, and I've made a video on how to perform this sentiment and contextual analysis on Yelp dataset, and you can just follow that for more information. And if we have multiple RST files to add into our documentation, you can just add those file names in the index.rst file as I did like this: sentiment analysis.rst, plotting.rst, and contextual analysis.rst. So now the entire documentation is completed. Now let's build this and let's see how our documentation will look. So I got one error here. It is in the comp.py file in the line number 33. Let's check. I have to enclose it with symbol quotes as an extension. So it's done. Let's refresh. Yeah, my documentation will look like this. So the first thing is performance sentiment analysis. Actually, the entire documentation will look like this. First of all, the thing is performing sentiment analysis, and the next one is plotting the output, and the final one is performing contextual analysis. As you can see, I have highlighted the word here. When I click on this, it will redirect me to the Yelp dataset download page. And as you can see, I have highlighted these sentences. When I click on this, it will redirect me to the step where it is located, and the step 2, similarly the step 7. So I have added figures and aligned them in the center, and also scaled them with 60%. And as you can see, I have added the code snippet here. And I already told you that we can execute any Python code directly into the documentation. So this is the example for that. I have used the plotly library here, and this is the output plot for my documentation. And finally, this is about contextual analysis. So like this, you can create your own documentation regarding anything, any matter, any concept. So let me tell you one thing. When you use this plotly, plotly library, yes, this one, you will be getting error when if you are not installed this Sphinx plotly directive. So first of all, you need to install this Sphinx plotly directive using the command pip install Sphinx plotly directive, and after that you have to add your absolute path into the config file which is located here. This is the config file, and you have to add your absolute path of this Sphinx plotly directive here, and also you have to add this Sphinx plotly directive as an extension into the variable extension. And also to avoid any errors, you have to add this line root doc is equal to index, and this will finish off setting any issues or the errors. And also let me tell you one thing, if you want to use any file or any image, you can just create a folder, and from image folder you can use this images. For example, yes, here. So for example, here you can see from images folder I have used yelp vocab.png image. And also if you want to use any file also, you can just copy that file into this source folder. I have used the reviews.csv file, so I have copied this into this source folder. So like this you can create your own documentation. And actually if you want to make it as a blog, you have to follow few steps. Those are, first of all, you have to build this in the readthedocs.org. And so for that you have to uh, add all these documentation into your repository. So let's do that. So for adding these files into your repository, you don't need to have your virtual environment activated. So let's close this and open another command. So let me open this in my working directory. Yelp reviews. So now you can check your repository status by using the command git status. So here we can find docs and my venv folders. So actually here we need to create a git ignore file to ignore a few folders to not to update it into our repository. So for that, first of all, we need to create text document and open this, save as. You can just save it as dot git ignore, and you can select save as type as all files and click on save. So it's done. Now again check the status, git status. Yes, now it's done. So if you want to manually add any folder into the this git ignore file, you can just do this by mentioning folder path my venv. So now let's check the status. Yes, as you can see, git ignore file ignored the venv folder. And here I need to tell you something that we need to create few files into this repository for avoiding any errors while building in the readthedocs.org. So let me show you the files I have created. In the docs folder, I should have a dot read the docs file, and as well as requirements. In the requirements file, while building in the readthedocs.org, to avoid those errors, I have added these requirements. First is the Sphinx .redirective, and the second one is the pillow. The version I have mentioned is 6.2.0. And also in this Yelp reviews folder, I have added setup.py, which is an empty Python code file. So let's add these files. You can use git add space dot for adding those files. And After adding or removing anything, after any operation, you have to commit with the message. It's done. Now we have to push all these files into a particular branch. Actually, as you can see, this is the main branch of my repository. So for adding all these files, I need to create a new branch. So let's create that. The branch name I am creating is new branch. You can use any other name. So we have switched into our new branch now. So let's push all these files. For that I'm using the command git push origin. So here I need to mention the branch name to which all these files have to be pushed. Okay, fine. Now let's refresh the page. So okay, you can see a notification here. So let's go to new branch. So these are all the files I've uploaded just now. So I need to make it as a blog. So for that I need to build these files in the readthedocs.org. So let's do that. So here if you don't have an account previously, you can just go to settings and you can create one. And if you have an account, you can just log in into here, and here you can go to my projects. Actually I have already added my repository here. So if you want to add, you can just click on import a project. So you can just click on import manually. Yes, now it is imported, and click on build version. So actually we have to wait for some time. So build this. So it's fine now. Build is completed. Let's build the document. So yes, it's fine. Yes, everything is fine. So the documentation is completed now. I will add my repository link in the description. You can just follow that. So in this way you can prepare any documentation using Sphinx tool. And so finally hope you understand this Sphinx documentation, and I think this will help you. Thanks for watching.